Hey friends, it's Laurie. Thanks so much for stopping by. Today I'm sharing a Valentine's Day gnome wreath DIY. Once again, I used mostly Dollar Tree supplies. I really hope you like it, so let's get busy. Getting started, I'm using one of the 14-inch wire wreath forms from the Dollar Tree. For the base of my wreath, I'm using 4 of these red fabric table runners, and I picked these up at the Dollar Tree as well. To attach the fabric to the form, I'm using 24 red chenille stems. I picked these up at the Dollar Tree in several packages, and you don't have to use red, but I wanted mine to match the fabric. I'm getting started by placing one chenille stem on the 2 outside wires and twisting it into place. I'm now adding on the second chenille stem, and once again, I'm attaching it to the 2 outside wires and twisting it into place. As I'm adding them, I am centering them in the section. With those in place, I'm following the same pattern. I'm adding 2 chenille stems per section on the 2 outside wires. I'm just continuing on adding my chenille stems and working my way around the form. With my first set of chenille stems attached in place, I'm now flattening them down so they point to the outside. Even though I did twist them in place as tightly as I could, they do have a tendency to slide on the metal, so I'm going to use my hot glue gun and add a dot of hot glue to each side of the chenille stem to help hold them in place. While you're adding it, the hot glue does drip down a bit, so to keep my workspace clean, I did add a piece of waxed paper underneath. To add on the next set of chenille stems, I'm first adding one around the 2 inside wires support on the form. With that in place, I'm now adding my next chenille stem. I'm wrapping it around the 2 inside wires, centering it between the 2 that I had attached on the outside and twisting it into place. From there, I'm going to continue following the same pattern around the form. I'm placing one around the 2 inside wire support, then adding on the next, centering it between the 2 outside wires and wrapping it around the 2 inside. When they were all attached, I once again flattened them out, used my glue gun, added a couple of dots of hot glue to help hold them in place. With that complete, and to make the fabric easier to attach, I'm flattening down the middle chenille stems into the center. If you're new to my channel, please consider clicking on that little red subscribe button below, leaving me a thumbs up, and to all my returning friends, I love reading your comments below. Before I attach the fabric, I'm first opening up the outside chenille stems. I'm starting on the pointed end of the fabric, and I'm gathering up about 3 to 4 inches. Then, using half a chenille stem, I'm going to attach the fabric together. I'm now placing the pointed end under the middle support on the form. Once I have it in place, I'm then turning the form over and attaching the chenille stems to the wire. Now with that in place, I'm attaching the fabric to the first outside chenille stem. I'm then folding the 2 sides of the fabric under, and I'm measuring out 8 inches. I'm then making a ruffle and attaching it to the next outside chenille stem. I'm now measuring out another 8 inches of fabric, making sure to keep the 2 sides under. And once again, after I make my ruffle, I attach it to the next chenille stem. From there, I continue making my 8-inch ruffles until I come to the end of the fabric. When I come to the end, I'm then tucking that little tail in between two of the inside wire supports. So I can see how they're starting to fill out the wreath. I'm just going around and giving them a little fluffing. To add on my next table runner, I'm once again gathering the pointed end at about 3 to 4 inches. This time, because my wreath is already started, I'm not going to gather it together with a chenille stem. Instead, I'm tucking it in between the two center wire supports. And now I'm attaching this to the last chenille stem that I had attached my fabric to. It's really important that you make sure that the two sides of that fabric is tucked under as you're adding on those ruffles. When I finally come full circle, I'm attaching the last outside ruffle to the first outside chenille stem. I'm now moving to the center, once again measuring out my 8 inches of fabric and attaching it to the next chenille stem. And once again, when I came to the end, I just tucked that little tail in between the two center wires. Here comes my next table runner, and once again I'm attaching about 3 to 4 inches of the pointed end under the two center wires. I'm then attaching the fabric to the last chenille stem that I had used. From there, just continue adding on those 8-inch ruffles until once again you come to the end of the fabric. I've made some different wreaths using Dollar Tree table runners, and I'll have that playlist linked below in case you'd like to check it out. I'm now adding on my last table runner, and I'm following the same instructions as I did with my last two. And this time I'm only going to be using a short piece of the fabric. When I make my last ruffle, I'm once again adding that to the first chenille stem that I started when I began the center. With my ruffles finally complete, I cut about a 6-inch tail from the leftover fabric, and then I just tucked it under those two center wires. With the hard work finally complete, I'm now working my way around the wreath, and I'm just kind of fluffing out all those ruffles. If you're looking to make a simple Valentine's Day, Christmas, or patriotic wreath, I think you could add on a pretty bow and it would be ready to hang. To hide the excess chenille stems that are sticking up, I'm first folding them over the ruffle. I'm turning the wreath over, I'm twisting them together on the back, and then I'm just folding them down. I continued working my way around the wreath until they were all hidden on the back. I'm adding on some mesh curl accents, and I'm using some of the white and the pink mesh from the Dollar Tree. I'm cutting them at 10-inch lengths, and to make them easier to cut, I cut out a 10-inch piece of cardboard. I'm wrapping the white mesh around the cardboard 8 times, and I'm doing this twice to get 2 sets of 8 10-inch mesh. For the pink, I wrapped it around 8 times, so I had 8 pieces of 10-inch mesh. To attach the mesh curls together, I'm using 8 pieces of floral wire. I'm starting by first rolling a piece of white mesh into a curl, and then I'm just tucking it between my fingers. I'm now rolling my pink mesh into a curl, and once again I'm tucking it between my fingers. To finish up, I'm rolling one more piece of white mesh into a curl. I'm now pinching all 3 together tightly and placing my floral wire over the top. I'm then pulling it against the curls and twisting it tightly on the bottom. With my first bunch complete, I'm now going ahead and making 7 more. The Dollar Tree mesh does have a tendency to fray, so what I like to do is just add a coat of hairspray to it. It's not a perfect fix, but it does help it out just a bit. To add the bunches to the wreath, I'm wrapping the wires around the form and twisting them together on the back. When I'm done, I just bend my wires over, but you can always clip them off if you'd like. With those in place, I'm now adding on the second bunch directly across from the first. My third bunch, I'm now centering between my first 2. And now my fourth, I'm attaching directly across from my third. I'm now attaching my fifth by centering it between 2 of the mesh bunches. With that in place, the 6th bunch goes directly across from the 5th. And now the 7th and the 8th fill in the 2 open spaces on the wreath. I always add my bunches on this way because for me, it's the easiest way to attach them evenly onto the wreath. For the ribbon accents, I'm using some of this pretty 2.5-inch heart ribbon and pink sheer ribbon. These came from the Dollar Tree, along with some white 2.5-inch burlap ribbon, and this came from Family Dollar. I'm once again using my 10-inch cardboard. I'm wrapping the ribbon around it 8 times and cutting it off at both ends. I'm also doing the same for the pink sheer and the white burlap ribbon. With my ribbons all cut, I'm now going to dovetail the ends, and this is super easy. You just fold the ribbon in half and cut away the end at an angle. With all my ribbons dovetailed, it's now time to make them into bunches. To attach my ribbons together, I'm once again using 8 pieces of floral wire. I'm making 2 different ribbon bunches, 4 of each, and I'm starting with the white on the bottom, the pink sheer in the center, and the heart ribbon on the top. I make sure the ends match up. I fold it in half to find my center, give it a little pinch, and then wrap the floral wire around the top and twist it tightly on the bottom. After making 4 of those, for my next 4, I'm starting with the heart ribbon on the bottom, the pink sheer, and the white ribbon. Once again, I make sure the ends line up. I fold it in half to find my center, give it a little pinch, and then place the floral wire over the top and twist it on the bottom. Now that I'm done, I have my 8 bunches, 2 sets of 4 each. I'm adding my ribbon bunches, starting with the hearts on the top. I'm adding it on the wreath between the mesh curls. I'm placing the 2 wires around the center support and then twisting them tightly, and then I just fold mine down, but you can snip yours off if you'd like. From there, I'm adding my next bunch directly across from my first, and once again, I'm placing the 2 wires down around the center supports and twisting them together tightly. For the next bunch, I'm evenly spacing it between my first 2. By doing this, the ribbon bunches with the hearts on the top will be evenly spaced around the wreath. For my last ribbon bunch with the hearts on the top, I'm placing it directly across from the third. With those all in place, I'm now adding on my 4 ribbon clusters with the white on the top. I'm adding these 4 bunches in the open spaces between the mesh curls. These are the colors and the patterns that I chose for my wreath, but you can always change them up to fit your style. Now that they're all added, I'm just going to work my way around the wreath and kind of fluff out the ribbons. As an accent in the middle of my bows, I'm using some of this white mesh tubing from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to make simple bows with it, and I'm giving each one about a 5-inch tail. I wasn't super fussy with the length, and you can always make yours longer or shorter, or you can even omit this step. Now that all 8 are complete, I'm adding a dot of hot glue to the center of each bow. And now it's as easy as attaching the mesh bow with the tails facing outwards. As I was adding them, I did use my finger protector to help protect my finger from some hot glue that was seeping out from some of those mesh bows. As one more accent for my bows, I'm using some sparkly hearts from the Dollar Tree, and I'm using 4 of the red and 4 of the pink. This time I'm adding some hot glue in the center of each mesh bow, and I'm alternating the colors of the hearts, pink and red, and just working my way around the wreath. If you don't have any of these on hand, the Dollar Tree does sell some wooden heart stickers in pink and red, and those would work great too. For the center of your Valentine's Day wreath, you can pretty much use anything. I'm using this Dollar Tree Valentine's gnome stake. And I'm just using a butter knife to remove the stake from the back of the gnome. I'm placing the gnome in the center of my wreath, and I'm adjusting the ribbons and the mesh curls. Now that I have him exactly where I want him, I'm using some hot glue to attach him in place. For the final accent on my gnome, I made one of the white tube mesh bows, and using my glue gun, I attached it to his hat. And with that, my Dollar Tree Valentine's Day gnome wreath is ready to hang. Well, here we are at the end of the video, and I really hope you enjoyed making this Valentine's Day wreath with me. If you're new to my channel and you're thinking, hey, I'd like to come back and hang out with her again, don't forget to click that little red subscribe button below. If you like to make wreaths, I'll have my wreath playlist linked below. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I will see you soon. Bye, everybody!